Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe Panther III.
Hey, hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther III, and we're in the middle of Women's Wrestling Month. And I've had so many awesome guests this month. I want to thank you all so far for helping me get this 2025 4-year anniversary of this awesome podcast that's helped so many young male and female wrestlers really promote themselves from all over the world. It's so many I can't thank, and so many, it's just so many. But today I have a young lady that is from the Arizona area. Welcome to Dudes at Ringside podcast, Taylor. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I got my coffee ready and I'm ready to talk wrestling.
It's funny when you said that before we recorded on the Instagram, all I could think is, got a cup of coffee in the big time. Cup of coffee.
Yeah, that's me.
Weird. So if my internationally known audience, like my East Coast, like the UK people that love watching me, my fans, the Ringside crew, if they're not familiar with you, introduce yourself.
I am the punked up princess. I like to say that I look pretty and lift heavy. And basically, I'm just a girl who loves to be in touch with my feminine side and that girly princess that every little girl wants to be. And I still want to be a princess even though I'm grown up. But I can also throw down in the gym, in the ring. I like to do CrossFit and power lift, and I even was really into Olympic lifting for the last 6 months, so I can pick up some pretty heavy stuff, but I also like to be a girly girl.
Awesome. So what was the first match, or what was your very first match that you saw on TV as a young Taylor Yorke that made you want to get into this business?
So I actually started watching wrestling. I was about 17. I'm 26 now. And the match that really made me want to do it, it was Nikki Bella and Charlotte Flair. It was Night of Champions, and it was when Charlotte won the belt. So I'm a huge fan of both of them. I watched I think I've seen every episode of Total Divas and Total Bellas 3 times, but watching Charlotte Flair wrestle, she was the one that made me go whoa, I want to be her when I grow up,
Awesome. So how long did it take you to find the training facility that you train at right now?
So I was in this weird situation. I was 21 maybe, and I went to college for theater. So I was like, okay, I love this, but I don't know if this is what I want to do with my life. Maybe if I start to take, the gym seriously and really get into shape and start training to get that side of things down, then I could look into going and being a wrestler and training for that. But I was 3 years into college. I had 1 semester left. I was like, might as well get this degree. And then COVID happened. And so I got sucked into a job. I was a barista for 6 years, and our owner had a horrible car accident. So me and 3 people were running her shop for 2 years. So there was no time to do anything else. So then I got out of that situation. And at that point I had a little stint of a mini depression sort of episode. And I also had COVID. And at that point, when I quit that job, I was maybe 110 pounds, soaking wet. I'd lost any progress I'd put into the gym, and I was really weak. So I needed a little bit longer after that to get back into a place where physically I felt like I could handle wrestling. So from when I decided I wanted to be a wrestler to when I started wrestling was when I started training, that was about 3 years. I was 24 when I started training, and then I was just turning 26 when I started wrestling.
Oh, wow. So what was the toughest part of the training when you first started?
So everyone, my school does 6 weeks of conditioning, and a lot of people don't even get through that. But that was the easy part for me because that was like just like working out. And like I said, I do CrossFit, so it's like I'm used to the higher intensity stuff. The hardest part for me is honestly just like really being like aggressive. And it seems like that part would be super easy, but then it's like, you'll throw a punch as hard as you can and someone will be like, cool, hit me harder. And I'm like, okay.
I'd have been in the corner like, owie, boo-boos.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, it's funny. I'm like, yeah, no, you can hit me as hard as you want, especially like when people go for the chest, I'm like, just play it in. Yeah, that's fine. But for some reason, like my brain's just like, don't hurt them, and I'm like, no, it's not going to hurt them. I mean, it is, but they'll be fine. They'll live. It's the point of all of this is to, just to be like in it 100%. And sometimes I struggle with that.
Oh. Well, when you first, well, let's go a little further in. When was the moment you knew that you made finally did this? Was it the day your first match? Like when did you realize that you were like, I'm in this, I'm doing it?
Honestly, the more I started to get on the road and go out to places, that's when it's like, oh, it's real. We did a show in Santa Fe for a fair, and this must have been like my second official match because I had one match that kind of doesn't really count. It wasn't Taylor Yorke, but it was a match. But so my second like real match was in Santa Fe. We drove like 8 hours, got out of the car, went in there, you know, got ready, and then it was like, all right, go out there. And it's like, okay. Like I had no time to think or stress or be worried about anything. And, I got out there, did the match, came back, and I was like, huh, I'm really doing this now. I think
Mm.
that for me was the moment where it's like, especially like not being with like my school, not having to set up the stage or, we help tear it down because we're there, we're nice, but like we don't have that whole day because the whole day we were in a car, and it's just like that's just the life. That's what you do sometimes. Like, I didn't get time to stretch or really even warm up, and I got in the ring and I took a bump and did like a drop kick, and I was like, oh man, my stomach's cramping up a bit, and that type of stuff. I'm just like, you're there, you got to get used to it. You can't be like, well, I needed to warm up or whatever. Like, no, you got to keep going, honey. You're in it. You're getting your butt kicked. You got to get up.
Did you have your all your gear that you get in the promo picture yet, or did you have another idea of what you would wear in the ring for the first match?
So my very first match, so I make my own gear. So I think my first match, I didn't have my knee pads and I didn't have my boots yet. My boots actually, they didn't ship until the day before my very first match. And so like I'm about to, like get ready to leave the next day, and I get an email and it's like, oh great, they just shipped like today. So I had to wear like my training shoes, and it's kind of an eyesore, I feel like. But once I got my like boots, I have these silver, just shiny boots that I love them, and I think, I love how they look. I was like, okay, now I feel like a wrestler. So it was like that. I have these knee pads that they're the AMA ones, and they didn't fit my boyfriend. I think he got like a medium, but they barely fit me, to be honest. But they fit me enough to where I can wear them. And so it's like the good knee pads, the boots, I have some promo pics where I didn't even have my little shorts ready yet. And then last minute I added like a sequin belt, and that's what I added like sequin armbands and a necklace. And then recently I started doing face jewels. I bought a new set for my next show that are like stars and moons that I'm really excited about. And then I've been doing like a little scrunchie. I got a silver scrunchie that I'm going to debut soon. And I'm just, starting to like, as I go, try to add things. I started doing the face jewels because I'm like, okay, like, what can I do to be different? And then I noticed, there's still a few people doing the face jewels out there, especially like I think Mariah May's been doing them lately, and so I'm like, okay, how can I do that but make it my own? And that's when I started playing with like, little flower shaped face jewels or a butterfly shaped face jewels. And it's like every time I do it differently. So it's like never the same look, which is really fun for me, I guess, because it's like, what am I going to do today?
Mm. Yeah, like with the different outfits, I know the wrestlers usually have like certain outfits for certain days, but you said you just have your certain thing with the shorts and the tank top. So when it comes to like the day of like the week of a show, how long does it take you to pack your bag before a show?
Right now, I kind of, just keep it packed. I spray down after a match. I found this little tip from costuming for operas. They would spray down with like vodka,
Mm.
and that would get rid of all of the sweat and the
Take a zip,
skin.
then spray. Take a zip and then spray.
Yeah, yeah, right. Just spray it down so that way it gets rid of all of the smell and it cleans it. And I just leave it in there.
Mm. So
Just
you train with another female wrestler. You said
Mhm.
just you two. Explain who it is so we can tell you who we train with.
Yeah. So I train with the little killer Zamaya, and she is this badass 80s inspired looking wrestler. She has the cool face paint and the big hair that's all spiked up and the big shoulder pads with the spikes, and she is scary. She is something else, and she will hit you so hard.
When you wrestle with someone like her, does it take a while? Do you have to really like research her move set to see what move that you could try to get past or anything to get past an opponent like that?
I think since we train together so much, and especially since we're the only two girls, it's just kind of like I know what she does, and I'm pretty used to it. So I kind of know like what to look for. But that doesn't doesn't change the fact that, she will catch you with something nasty, and then any plan goes out the window.
Yeah. Um, with you doing like before like the week before a show, how do you train? How do you schedule your trainings? Like, is there a certain way you do it so you don't mess anything up the day of week of a show?
I think it depends. So like if there's something I'm nervous about, I'll be like, okay, in training, anyone want to run this with me, or grab one of the guys, be like, hey, you want to tell me how this feels or how this looks? A lot of times during training, I mean, especially our school, it's like on any weekend, someone could be booked for a show. So the way our training classes go don't really feed into that, just because it's like, if someone on a Wednesday, that's our more advanced class. So if on a Wednesday it's like, hey, anyone want to work on something specific? That's when it's like, okay, I want to try, this idea that I wanted to do, or this move that I've been thinking about doing, or, what if I did this and this and this, and just run things like that through just to see how it goes. But sometimes like when I have like something big that I'm doing, I'm like, no, I need the show day adrenaline. Like I'll do, like whenever I do a kip up and I practice it before, I'll get in my head like, ah. But then when I do it in the moment, I'm like, I'm not gonna mess it up. There's just I won't let myself mess up.
Yeah. So with your weight training, like, is there a certain thing you do before you lift the weights? Or is there anything you say to yourself? Is like, so how do you get yourself into that zone to lift the weights?
Some days, like I'll be honest, I'm in like animal mode. Like I do CrossFit, and our gym has like music playing on the speakers, whatever. And I would always do classes, so I never really remember to like bring headphones. So on the days when I'm doing my own lifts, like sometimes I'm just there like in silence. Like if I'm at the gym after hours, it'll just be like just me and my thoughts. And sometimes that's just like all I focus on is like whatever I'm lifting, whatever time I'm resting, and however much I'm adding on next. And I'm just like, I'll get like super zoned in. It's a little freaky. And other days it's a class, and it's just like, all right, whenever they tell me to go, go. If it's like a longer workout, I'm just like, okay, 1 rep at a time, just chip away, just keep chipping, just 1 rep at a time.
So the day of a show, do you pack yourself a dinner, or do you wait to eat till after the show, like after your match and after the show is over?
I'll wait until after. I will have a Rice Krispie treat before. That is my go-to little treat, and gives you that like quick burst of energy, so that way you can get through the match. It's like that, or like a protein bar, something like that, something light. Um, like I can like eat and then go run around and do whatever and feel fine, but I'd rather not have a big meal. And then I like to go out to dinner with everyone if we're traveling on the road, and like the only thing open is Denny's, and it probably is going to be Denny's, and I'm okay with that. I love breakfast. I'll eat breakfast any time of day. I'll eat breakfast for every meal of the day if I have to, and I won't complain about it.
So if you had to pick an ideal menu for Taylor Yorke on the Denny's menu, what would that be?
Oh gosh, ideal menu. I will just get like scrambled eggs, or no, I'll get them over easy so I can get the yolk, and I mix it with my hash browns, and then an English muffin and a pancake, like the
Ooh.
little 2 pancakes, because that's the perfect amount. Once
Silver
they
dollar,
get
I guess,
formed.
right?
What's that?
The silver dollar ones.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
mom makes
because
those.
they're just like the perfect amount. Because like when you get a pancake like meal, then it's like I ain't gonna eat all that, but the 2 pancakes, it's the right amount.
You wouldn't be able to hang out with any of the bloodline members or one of the Usos. I was watching something on YouTube. One of the fellow podcasters interviewed one of them, both of them, and he gets like 5 pancakes, like two scrambled eggs, and like lemonade. And I'm like, that bill though.
Yeah, hey, but they're big boys. They gotta eat.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
see
I
you
will.
have coffee in your hand. Are you a
Yes, sir.
local? You said you worked in a local barista, but are you true on local? Support your local business, or is it you always have to go to like a Starbucks or Dunkies?
I would rather, if there is a local option, I would rather do that than Starbucks. Unfortunately, it's convenient sometimes to go to Starbucks, or like, the mobile order makes it really nice. But I prefer local places because they're fresher. Because, you don't know when they roasted the Starbucks coffee you're about to drink, to be honest. You really don't.
It could have
Could
been
be.
from this morning, as soon as they opened the doors. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Or like, the way they like roast the beans, they make it like super dark. So that's why it tastes kind of burnt, and then that way it'll stay like fresher for longer. But yeah, it could be coffee from this morning when you get in there,
yeah,
versus like I worked at a place we would roast like, at least once a week. And just so the beans were fresher, so they tasted better, and they didn't have to make it as dark so you could get more of the flavor, so it was less burnt. Stuff like that.
yeah, I totally get this. As I told you, also I'm a coffee guy. So
Yeah.
like, my parents get their coffee beans from a barista from New York City called Puerto
Oh,
Rico
nice.
Coffee. Oh my gosh, their coffee is phenomenal. They have like
Yeah.
hundreds of styles of coffee, beans, the like roasted up stuff. They put them in the bags for you. They're in, I think, Lower Manhattan, and you're right there. Taylor, is when you go around the corner and you just smell coffee.
Yes, yes. You could smell like the whole street's gonna smell like it. That's
Yeah,
when you know it's good.
you have to look it up online and like get when you ever come. So this ties into that. Like, when have you thought of coming traveling out of Arizona? And if you have you thought of any places you would like to travel to?
Oh gosh, I would. I'd love to get to the East Coast at some point. So I'm definitely wanting to try and travel to Colorado at some point next year. I want to try and go out to see Rocky Mountain. We know a lot of guys from our training center who are working down there, so we're just waiting for the moment to be like, hey, can I just hop in your car? I'll pay for gas. Just try
Yeah.
and get out there. That's definitely one. I've been coming out to New Mexico quite a bit, and I love it out there. I really do. They have really, really fun crowds out there. Where else? Oh, I'm going to Vegas for next weekend for Future Stars of Wrestling, which I'm very excited for. And I'm just trying to get out, anywhere that'll have me, I'll figure out a way to get there.
I definitely want to see you come out to PPW in Slatington, PA. That would be cool to meet
Yeah.
you and take a selfie, like I love to do with my former guests. If my fans want to follow you on social media, how can they find you?
Okay, my Instagram is Taylor_Yorke Taylor, or no wait, Taylor_Yorke_. That's it.
It's like the dudes at Ringside. It's like dudes _@_ringside_ pod. It's like,
I know.
who's got time for that to write all the underscores? It's like these people are never gonna follow me ever.
Unfortunately, there's just Taylor York was taken. Taylor.York was taken. Couldn't be Taylor.York because it can't end in a dot.
Yeah. If my fans want to pick up anything of yours, like 8x10s, t-shirts, anything, do you have anything yet?
I am currently working on my first t-shirt design. So hopefully, I'm hoping to have that done in the next month. I'm using December to kind of go through the bucket list of things that I just need to get done. So t-shirts are on there. I have my second set of gear that I'm working on. It's like I just need to sew it. I don't know if you could see the sewing machine behind me, but
I see it.
I am beefing with it so hard right now. Like half of sewing is just figuring out what's wrong with the machine. Like half the time I'm like, okay, what do I need to fix?
My mom's a sewer. She makes all my scrubs for work. So
oh, cool.
I can hear the sewing machine going. I'm like, it's happening. It's happening. Getting new scrubs.
Yeah.
Then I walk around the corner. I'm like, oh, those are curtains.
But yeah, I think as soon as I get a good design laid out for a shirt, I might do some pre-orders, and I'll post that info on my Instagram. So there's that, and if
don't
if
forget
anyone
to
ever wants
collab
to
with me with that, Taylor.
Oh,
don't
yeah.
forget when it comes for your t-shirt, collab with me so I can have it posted on my Instagram wall for you.
Oh, of course, I'll make sure to do that for sure. Thank you.
Yes, that's how I #support independent wrestling. Wrestlers' merchandise is very important to them, as I was talking to you before the show. And you never knew, you may have a fan of mine that's from PA or from all the way up in Canada that likes supporting wrestlers like I do. And they'll be like, hey, send me the information how I buy your shirt. Boom.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I'll make sure to do that for sure.
Please and thank you. Before we go, where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years in the business?
I'm hoping for 5 years from now that I can be doing this full time, and whatever level that is at, I would just love to be able to not have a day job, pretty much, so that wrestling could be my job, so I could focus on that, so I can focus on, the gym when I'm not traveling. And I just want to be able to say, in 5 years, I've been to every state. I think that's a good goal to have. And I would love to go to Canada. I'd love to go to the UK. I'd love to go to Japan. I mean, all of those places are definitely, I hope by 5 years from now, I could say that I've been, to all of those places. And I hope 10 years from now that I can say I'm signed somewhere. I really think my goal is TNA, and I want to call it Tay-NA.
Yes.
So I want Tay-NA to be a thing in 10 years. That's what I want.
Awesome. Well, another one before we go. If there's any young fans watching the podcast, what kind of advice would you have for them?
Young fans, I would say the sooner you take care of your body and like focus on your health, the better off you will be in the long run. I got into wrestling a little later than a lot of my friends. Like I have friends who are 18, 19, and parts of me are like, I wish I could have been doing this that young, but parts of me are also like, I had no idea who I was back then. And I'm okay with the road that I took to get to where I am and, all of that stuff too. But I do wish that I would have started to, I see like teenagers and really even like I'll see videos of kids lifting like really impressive weights, and I'm like, man, I wish I could have started that stuff younger. I think that it would have been a game changer if I had started CrossFit at like 16. Like who knows? Maybe I'd be in the games right now. Maybe not, but at the same time, it's never too late to start prioritizing your health and just taking care of like what you eat, what you put into your body, and making sure you get some sort of physical activity in your day to keep everything moving and stretch. A lot of times people don't really stretch, and it's really important to do that, especially if you're working out.
Yeah, it's difficult with these kids these days. They think they could just go into it and just say, "Oh, I'm going to be a wrestler," and
Yeah.
they think they're just going to go into practice and they take that first bump and they're just like, "I give up." But
that
you
happens
seem
a
like
lot.
you seem like you got it. You know what you're doing, and you're very excited about. I'm very excited about to see more of you in 2025. I'm Joe Panther the Third,
I'm Taylor Yorke.
and we will catch you in the next one.